there's only one way that there might be a possibility. And I've always said, Pogačar on top of his form, his worst enemy is himself. And so I think what they should try to do, especially in monuments like 250K, is try to isolate him early, to make him attack early, and then not race behind and try to keep it together and hope that he will be overconfident and runs out of gas. It has happened in the past a few times, but it seems that now, especially this year, he has that exercise under control. Even, he does not run out of energy anymore.
Yeah. Everybody, welcome back to The Move. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel and George Hincapie. We are breaking down Il Lombardia, which was won by Tadej Pogačar in his now signature solo style. His UAE team lined it up perfect for him on the Passo de Ganda. He launched his lethal attack. Everyone knew it was coming. No one could stop it. Gets his 5th straight Lombardia win, 10th career monument at just 27 years old. Remco Evenepoel, his biggest rival and greatest foil up to, I guess at this point, finishes yet another second with a great ride. Michael Storer from Tudor Pro Cycling gets an incredible 3rd place, his first top 10 in a World Tour one-day race. Quinn Simmons, the American on Little Trek, who was attacked from the gun, finished 4th, which is incredible. And then Pogačar's young UAE teammate, Isaac Del Toro, finished 5th in the chase group. But Johan, I want to get your guys' take on this win, what this means going forward. How does Pogačar keep doing this? How are we ever going to stop him, or how will anyone ever stop him? But first, let's hear from our partners, and then I'll get your take on it. Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by NordVPN, a must-have for any serious cycling fans. What I love most about NordVPN is the freedom it gives me. With NordVPN, I can safely access my favorite streams and cycling coverage that I watch at home, no matter where I am in the world. I can toggle between multiple different feeds from multiple countries using Nord's easy-to-use interface to get a feel for what different commentators are saying about the same race. And if I'm traveling to the tour or just trying to catch a broadcast that isn't available in my region, I can switch my virtual location in seconds and watch exactly what I want no matter where I am. It's incredibly easy to use. I know a lot of people get intimidated when they hear VPN, but NordVPN is as easy as downloading the app and connecting with one click. And you can even set it up for auto connect. So it's just ready the same time every day. Also good for keeping you safe when you're on the road trying to sign into some password protected accounts and you don't want anyone on the public Wi-Fi to see what you're doing. And with over 7,500 servers in 118 countries, I can change my virtual location effortlessly. So if you want to watch the tour or just keep your browsing safe at any time, NordVPN has you covered. Get your exclusive NordVPN deal here. NordVPN.com/TheMove. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. NordVPN.com/TheMove, or find the link in the show notes. Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by Element. I've been trying to get out on the bike more recently as I prepare for my showdown with George and Wiggins at the upcoming El Tour de Tucson. And one thing that's making my training a lot easier is Element. It keeps me hydrated without all the junk, and frankly, it's delicious. Each packet delivers 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium, and the perfect mix to keep my body firing. No sugar, no gluten, no artificial stuff, no BS, just clean electrolytes. And I swear it makes me feel significantly better on the bike. Oh, and don't sleep on the Element Sparkling. 16 ounces of bold sparkling electrolyte water that hits the spot both on and off the bike. Got me through those long days in the studio with the Tour de France. And here's the kicker. If you order Element and don't love it, just give it to a friend and Element will refund you. No questions asked. Right now, you can get a free 8-count sample pack of Element's most popular flavors with any purchase at Drink Element, which is lmnt.com/TheMove. That's drinklmnt.com/TheMove. All right, Johan, do you want to go first? What's your big takeaway from this win that I think came exactly as you predicted in yesterday's show?
Sorry, my mic was not on. I
was like, man, he's thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking. Well, I mean, there's two things I want to address before we go into the, what happened and how Pogačar won and how the race developed. When I started watching pretty early. So we had these 14 riders go away from very early on. Some strong riders in there, and my thing, and I still I don't have an answer yet. But my take of the day would be a part of course, the Pogačar show. What the fuck was Red Bull Bora doing today? what was that? I mean, why? I cannot understand. They straight away they started collaborating with UAE, and I mean, my only explanation is, okay, Roglic must have said he felt great. Turned out he didn't, but you don't know that at the start. And then basically, the purpose could be, okay, let's just please make sure that Pogačar doesn't get isolated too soon, because that's when he goes, and that would have been one climb earlier. Other than that, I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but what was the thinking behind that collaboration so early and basically during the whole race?
George,
yeah, I think we're looking for change in tactics. I think you can maybe say, like the European Championships, why is the Belgian team doing all this work when they know what Pogačar is going to do? But I think we're just witnessing such dominance that no matter what tactics are played, it's not going to be much difference. I mean, you see a guy like Pavel Sivakov pulling for like 60K, keeping a breakaway of 7, 8, 9 guys, a really strong breakaway at 2.5, 3 minutes by himself. That team is thus far just been unstoppable, and Pogačar just goes when he wants. I don't know what the tactic was from Bora by starting to collaborate with them early on. Maybe we all know how those roads are twisty, turny. Maybe just giving their guys a little bit of freedom in the beginning, just to not fight for position. But yeah, it doesn't make much sense to help out such a dominant team.
What? Yeah, I mean, am I out of line for thinking, Johan, that this was? I want to be careful how I phrase this. Was this an agreement that maybe will be paid back next year? Was something going on there behind the scenes? Because in the race, I don't really understand it.
Spencer, if you asked me that question 15, 20 years ago, I would say maybe. In today's cycling, this is no way. Every race starts from scratch, and everybody rides from themselves. What kind of agreement can there be? I mean, it's like UAE doesn't need to make agreements with anybody. They have three guys in the top 10 today.
Maybe it was. That's a very good point. Why do you need friends when you have all the good riders? I mean, maybe it was, we will promise not to send Tadej to the Giro next year if you help us pull. Frankly, the funniest thing about it was I don't even think they needed the help, right?
No.
Yeah, it was strange. We should say, why was Red Bull pulling? Because, and I think we're seeing the future with this. The start of the race was like the start of a Tour de France, of a 3-hour Tour de France stage. It was full gas. Quinn Simmons attacks from the gun, gets away with an incredibly strong group, including Filippo Ganna and 2 other Ineos riders. Like, these guys clearly understand the assignment. We can't beat Pogačar from the peloton. The only chance is to get out in front and hope they make a miscalculation. And Simmons, I mean, after being out in front almost 6 hours, gets 4th place. That's certainly better than he would have gotten had he ridden from the peloton. Do you guys think this is a trend that riders will just start going from the gun because there's no hope in races this hard? Or is this an outlier because Simmons is on incredible form?
But I mean, listen, Spencer, Simmons is on incredible form. I'm just pulling up a stat here from Velon. Right. So they have the teams that are part of Velon have these GPSs, and they get all the metrics live during the race. So I saw this here. It says what it takes to be in the breakaway in a monument. Quinn Simmons, first 20 kilometers in the breakaway, 24 minutes, average speed 49.8 kilometers per hour, not flat. Maximum speed 79.2. And here it comes. Average power during 25 minutes, 380 watts in the break. Maximum power, 950 watts. Go from the gun is one thing, but you have to be damn strong to be there. I mean, these guys were no pannenkoeken. There was some really, really strong riders in that break. and it shows. I mean, that how these numbers here show how strong Quinn was, and then finally to make it over that climb. I would say in a podium position almost, right? I mean, he almost made it, but
he almost made it. Yeah.
The rider who attacked at kilometer 0 today finished 4th in Lombardy. That's quite something.
Yeah, and that, to me, that was the ride of the day. Like you said, Johan, holding that type of power in the first 25 kilometers. Yeah, maybe many people in the peloton can do that, but to hang on to 4th place with a team like UAE pulling full gas behind, dropping the riders that he dropped. I mean, what an incredible last part of the year Quinn Simmons has had. Yeah, he didn't have his best worlds, but unbelievable ride today. Ride of the day, in my opinion.
I mean, the Passo della Crociata, which is 12K long, he according to the on-screen graphics, averaged 450 watts for that. So not only is he doing 380 watts for the first 25 minutes, so maybe some people can do that. It's like, all right, then you're out front all day. Then you get to a long climb, just hold 450 watts on that. And then he keeps going. I mean, he was still putting out power all the way to the end. It is an incredible ride, but Pogačar is undefeated in the last 2 years in races with one-day races with more than 4,000 meters of climbing. He's only lost 2 one-day races with more than 3,000 meters of climbing. One of those he gifted to McNulty. The other one was Amstel Gold, which came a week after Paris-Roubaix. With those facts, I mean, if you're the second favorite, you might have to start attacking from the gun. I don't see any other way to stop this. We should say Remco Evenepoel has adopted incredible discipline. It's, I guess, the opposite of the Simmons strategy, where I forgot he was in this race for the first few hours, sitting in the group, sits on Pogačar's wheel. He's holding the gaps somewhat. He's dropping everybody else, but then he's still falling short. I mean, what advice could you give to Remco? You guys, do you think there's anything he could adjust to beat Pogačar, or just hope Pogačar gets sick one time?
I mean, I think he's doing what he can, and second place, he's leaving his team honorably, given the number of results in the World Cup. Obviously, he wanted to win, but he just hasn't been able to keep up with Pogačar. And maybe in the back of his mind, he thinks, well, maybe next year with this, maybe if I'm a little bit stronger and I have some guys that can stay with me a bit longer, maybe if I don't go with Pogačar, I can have these guys help me bridge back up. I mean, there's just, he has to start thinking out of the box. And I think the fact that he's going to a new team with much better climbers around him can give him some hope, and he can get some positivity out of that.
Yeah, right now, Spencer, I think, I mean, just thinking out loud, there's only one way that there might be a possibility. And I've always said, Pogačar, on top of his form, his strongest, his worst enemy is himself. And so I think what they should try to do, especially in monuments like 250K, is, try to isolate him early, to make him attack early, and then not race behind and try to keep it together and hope that he will be overconfident and runs out of gas. It has happened in the past a few times, but it seems that now, especially this year, he has that exercise under control. Even, he does not run out of energy anymore. Yeah. There's a reason why. There's a reason why, because this is not a coincidence anymore. If you look at all the last few races, it's always he attacks, he takes 1 minute, and he keeps it there. There's a reason for that. He does not go to his limit. He gets that minute, and then he's capable of managing it. And I wouldn't know. They have to try things. You can try a multi-rider attack from other teams, but he's so much stronger than the second best rider, and it's debatable that the second best rider might actually be on his team, as Del Toro. It's in certain races, so it's not easy to come up with strategies. Not
only that, like we mentioned before, Sivakov pulled for 60K, and then as soon as Jay Vine takes his first pull, there's 4 or 5 guys left. Yeah. Everybody's gone, and that's not even their second best guy. He gets on the front, he starts doing the pace, and there's 4 guys left, and Pogačar is not even close to his limit. It's just I don't understand how they're going to beat him in the future.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of not being on his limit, George, I think it was telling to see that when Rafael Majka pulled off, there was, you could see there was like 15, 20 guys and everybody else was just hanging on for dear life. And the fact that Pogačar just took the time to salute Rafael Majka, give him because it was his last race of his career,
Yeah.
On the climb, everybody's suffering, and Pogačar has the time to think, okay, Rafa, thank you very much. Hats off. That's like, okay, we're just waiting for, the Pogačar show to happen. He is just that much better. And also, you can see everybody was at the end, they were struggling. Remco was, normally Remco, even if he's on the limit, it's hard to see when he's on the limit. You could see when he crested that climb, he was on the limit. But man, also the way he's in control on the downhills and in these corners, it's like I don't know. I mean, listen, I love it, but it must be super frustrating for teams and rivals. It's like, if you get second, I think it feels like a win, I guess.
Well, there's always, this is my favorite strategy. Show up and hope Pogačar doesn't show up, because it's not like imagine if Tadej wins the Tour this year and is like, I just want to go hang out on a yacht and I don't want to do these races at the end of the year. Remco would have won World Championships time trial, World Championships road race, European Championships time trial, European Championships road race, and Lombardia. We would be looking at a historical run from Evenepoel if Pogačar just decided he wanted to do something else. And I mean, he doesn't go to every race, and he's not always going to be healthy. So I do think Remco can take positives out of this. I did look it up. I think Remco's riding the best he's ever ridden. He hasn't won a monument in over 2 years. That's how much the window is narrowing here for riders that can actually compete with Pogačar.
Well, I think you said he hasn't won a monument in 2 years, but think about his results after the Tour last year. I mean, dominating the Olympic time trial and the road race, riding away from everybody, but
using my favorite tactic.
Pogačar wasn't there.
I love that tactic.
It's crazy, but it's the reality of what we're watching these days.
But it's going to happen. I don't think we should even look any further than maybe next year, Spencer. If Pogačar, because I have this little list here of. If you look at his, we can go on and on. We can do a whole podcast only talking about unique stats.
I know
from Pogačar, right? So
we might actually.
So I have a few things here. So it's the fifth time he wins Lombardy. Only Fausto Coppi has done that in the past, but nobody has done it 5 times in a row. Pogačar is the first rider ever to win both the World Championships and Lombardy in the same season 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
Eddy Merckx has done it once. And other guys have done it. Like, I think 8 or 9 riders who were world champion and won Lombardy, but he does it 2 times in a row. He's the second rider ever to win 3 monuments in one season. Only Eddy Merckx has done it. Eddy Merckx has done it 4 seasons. Nobody before was on the podium of all the monuments in one season. This is Pogačar. So he's starting to get unique stats, right? And so if you look at his palmarès, he's 27 years old, and I have the list here. I'll go briefly. So he's 2 times world champion, European champion. He won the Tour 4 times, Tour de France. He won the Giro, Tirreno Adriatico twice, Paris-Nice, Catalunya, Dauphiné, 5 times Lombardia, 3 times Liège-Bastogne-Liège, 2 times Tour of Flanders, 3 times Strade Bianche, 2 times Flèche Wallonne, and Amstel Gold Race. Those are the most important. He won a bunch of other races. So I went through, if these guys just want to tick off, to tick the boxes. So there's only 4 events left to win for Pogačar. It's the Vuelta a España, which in my opinion, when he shows up, he's going to win it. Might be next year, maybe. Milan-San Remo and Paris-Roubaix. Those two monuments, and the Olympic road race. There's nothing else to win for Pogačar. And he's only 27. So, I think maybe, let's look at this. I don't know what his calendar going to be, but let's suppose he wants to win the Vuelta as soon as possible. So let's say next year he does Tour de France and Vuelta. Maybe he doesn't do the Worlds. Oh, I mean, it's in Montreal.
Yeah, well, it's in Montreal. You got to.
But anyway, you can't say,
Yeah,
you can't say maybe he's drained and he, it doesn't do the world.
That double is brutal.
Yeah.
As we saw with Jonas.
Yeah.
We should. So go ahead, George.
Well, I can say, I mean, depends how you look at it. Like the double is not necessarily brutal because you can come out of the Vuelta in really good shape and not even train and be really good at the Worlds. So I know back in our day, that was a great training race for the World. So obviously guys like Pogačar don't need that anymore. And Jonas obviously did not quite recover because he didn't have great performance at the European Championships and didn't even go to the Worlds for that matter. But I think with Pogačar, if he does the Worlds, he'll be fine if he does the Vuelta, he'll be fine at the Worlds next year.
Yeah, and I guess Jonas got pummeled at the Tour, so that obviously takes it out of you. Whereas we saw last year, Tadej at the Giro, he was always controlling the pace, so he was not depleted when he left that and went into the Tour de France. I was just going to say, Johan, so Tadej, I don't know if we mentioned this, 10 monument wins in his career, 27 years old, just turned 27, by the way, fresh 27. He only trails Roger de Vlaeminck, who has 11 monument wins, and Eddie Merckx, who has 19. That's a lot. He has 2 more than the next active rider. That's Mathieu van der Poel, who has 8, which is a ton. The craziest thing about this is these are the ages of their most recent monument win. Eddie Merckx, 30. That's very young to win 19 monuments. Roger de Vlaeminck, 31. Pogačar, 27. Mathieu van der Poel, 30. I mean, that's impressive. That means he has 3 full years he just has to win 2.6 monuments a year for the next 3 years to match Merckx, and that's exactly the rate he's been winning at since 2021. That is unbelievable.
I think I was thinking about that today when I saw those images. I mean, I saw some images of him training the other day on the reconning the course, and then today, on that last climb. I mean, on that last short climb, the crowds were unbelievable. I think ultimately, Pogačar is going to be the one who will make the decision that the dominance is over, because we've seen already a little bit of it in the Tour at the end. He was a bit overwhelmed by all the attention, the pressure, being solicited all the time. It must be unbelievably hard. And I don't know if his interview where he said, maybe I don't race that much longer anymore. And I think that's the only thing they can hope for the moment, that Pogačar says, okay, you know what? See you in the douches. That's it. That's it for me.
Well, you're leaking into question time here, but let's put a pin in that. I do think that's an interesting question. But before we move on, you touched on it, Johan. Well, you said 2 things. You said you got to isolate Pogačar. Well, we saw today you can't isolate him because UAE is so strong. What did you guys make of UAE's? They look like a different team compared to the Vuelta. They were so well drilled. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. What did you guys think about that?
Yeah, there was perfection. I mean, that's what you want to see in a team. But again, you have the guys like Sivakov, Micah, Jay Vine. I mean, these are all team leaders in their own right. So it's almost unfair to have these guys set a tempo at the front. And it's like, you can't do anything. When these guys are riding tempo, it's like, yeah, what are you going to do? Attack for 1 kilometer at 20 more watts and then blow up? It's like, you just got to hang on for dear life and then hope Pogačar's attack isn't as strong as it has been the last couple of races. But we saw it's as strong or even better. He just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah. And Spencer, I mean, we've talked already about it many times, and it is, once again, we've seen, the UAE there's 2 teams. There's a team when Pogačar is not there, and it's UAE with Pogačar. It's completely different. I mean, if you have a guy where, would we say 90% sure he's going to win, or even more, 95% sure he's going to win? Because there's no questions, I mean, everybody does their job, and I mean, the only guy we didn't really see today, but because even then, I mean, if you're on such a strong team and you have your role, and you're like, let's say there's Pogačar, there's Del Toro, and then there's number 3, 4, and 5. So if you're number 4 or number 5 and you don't have a great day, man, it must be stressful. I'm thinking, for example, about Adam Yates. Adam Yates had a job to do. He couldn't because he was put on the limit by one of his really amazing teammates.
Yeah.
So being on that team, and George, you know perfectly what I'm talking about. When there's a hierarchy in the team and everybody has their job, when the moment comes, it's stressful and you have to be there. And sometimes you're not able to. So it's not like, these guys show up and everybody does their job. There's, they need to be ready when it's their time, right?
Yeah, I agree. But even when you have such a Adam Yates, top 4 or 5 climbers in the world, you see he didn't have a great day today, and it was really inconsequential to the team's performance. I mean, they still adapted, kept going, kept rolling, won the race, no problem. And Adam's in great form. He just won a race in Italy this week. I mean, so like you said, he just had a bad day, but it really didn't affect the team at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Does the sport need a salary cap? I'm just listening to you guys say that.
There's no doubt the budget of UAE is affecting the teams and the competition and the way races are raced right this season. I mean, and it's not slowing down. They get whoever they want whenever they want.
Yeah, and there. By the way, it looks to me. I mean, I've been looking at some transfers, even with their women's team. They're doing the same thing. They're buying away really good riders and good staff from other teams, and the teams, as far as I've been told, it's frustrating because they can't compete. A helper, somebody who would be a leader on any team gets paid 50% more to be a helper on UAE.
Yep. Well, I don't want to get into I know people that had to change, that lobbied to change the laws to get the NFL salary cap in place. So I don't even know if it could happen, but it would take a lot of legal work to do it. But Let's take a quick break, and then I have a question for you guys, a depressing question about getting old. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. I'm drinking AG1 every day. It's the first thing I do. I come down. AG1 gave me a nice little canister. I just scoop it out of there. I put it into my nice little AG1 glass. It's really just a glass with a top on it, but I like to think it's a nice fancy mixer. I mix it up. I drink it, and I'm getting better gut health, steady energy, immune system support. And honestly, it's way easier than all those supplements that I'm not so great at taking. So with each daily serving, I'm getting 75 high-quality ingredients that support energy, focus, strength, and clarity, covering my nutritional bases. Literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust AG1. And now AG1 has leveled up with AG1 Next Gen, clinically shown to increase healthy gut bacteria by 10 times, all for the same price, less than $3 a day. Head to drinkag1.com/themove to get a free welcome kit, including a bottle of vitamin D and 5 AG1 travel packs, a $76 value when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/themove. Everybody, this episode is brought to you by Helix Sleep. I've been sleeping on a Helix mattress for a little over a year now, and honestly, it's been a complete game changer. Before Helix, I thought I was just a bad sleeper, but once I switched, my data told the real story. My Garmin started showing deeper, longer sleep cycles, and my recovery scores noticeably improved within the first week. And as a control to the study that I'm giving you, I was away all summer. I was up in Aspen for the Tour de France. I was in Europe seeing family. Not on my Helix. And when I got home, the difference was night and day. I was falling asleep faster, staying asleep longer, and actually waking up feeling rested instead of groggy. That better sleep has translated into sharper focus for work, better energy on the bike, and just an overall calmer, healthier daily rhythm. In upgrading to Helix is not as hard as you think. You're thinking, wow, I don't know what mattress to get. Well, just go to the website, fill out their sleep quiz, and within minutes, they'll tell you which mattress is best for you. And lucky for you, Helix is offering 20% off all orders on the site for the Move listeners. To redeem the offer, head to helixsleep.com/themove, and you'll get your code for 27% off. And make sure to enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. That's helixsleep.com/themove. Find the link in the show notes. Okay, so you mentioned Adam Yates. You mentioned Primož Roglič. Well, you didn't mention him. I thought about him. Do you know how many riders over the age of 30 finished in the top 10 of today's race?
How many?
0. Have we like crossed the Rubicon here? To me, this was the first time, I guess the tour plus the first time Primoz looked quite his age to me. And Adam Yates, I mean, who was ripping it up just until recently, as we said, could not really perform his job today. Have we reached a point where it's just tough over 30 to even compete with these guys? And then you have a teenager in 7th, Paul Seychelles, a 21-year-old in 5th. This is a 240-kilometer race. It's like the hardest thing on a body that age. I mean, Jay Vine is 9th. He might be the oldest guy in the top 10. He's 29 years old. I think, have we reached no country for old men status in the World Tour?
I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, the season is so long and so hard, and I do think that as you get older, it's many times all about motivation. Like, as a guy like Primoz, he's won pretty much everything he's done except for the Tour. Has just finished the Worlds. I mean, perhaps he's just not motivated to get to that next extra level. Like, him getting a podium today in Lombardia does not affect his career whatsoever. So in my opinion, it's not a question of his fitness form. It's a question of how deep we are into the season and a lack of perhaps motivation.
Yeah, it does get more difficult with age, and especially at the end of the season, to stay motivated. It's not just for the race; it's the way you prepare the race, how hungry you are to still train. The 2 weeks before Lombardy, although they have done a few races, but they still need to train. And if you do your trainings just what you have to do because that's what the plan says, or if you do it with hunger and motivation and really with inspiration, it's going to make a difference the way you show up at the race.
That's why it's so shocking. I mean, obviously Pogačar has no problem with motivation, but like, he's been winning since his first race of the year, and to keep winning to the end race of the year, it's something we haven't really witnessed in cycling.
Well, it's a good point. I mean, Larry in the members chat, I will get to all these questions, but Larry's just popped one up. He said, how much of Pogačar winning ways are a result of his genetic makeup? I would guess a lot, but the thing that surprises me most about Pogačar is he's truly a cannibal. Like, he was going at it at the UAE Tour in February, and now he's going just as hard in October. Like, this guy, he doesn't seem to have an off switch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
he's up there all the time. I mean, they obviously they do race less. Pogačar just races the races he wants to win. He doesn't do any races nowadays. They don't do any more races to prepare. That's done. They train a lot harder and more specific for their goal than being stuck in whatever, say, Tour of Murcia, and you just have to ride there for 3-4 days, and you're sitting in the peloton and you're in zone 2, not doing any work. Those times are over. They train a lot harder than back in the days. George, you guys were sometimes using certain stage races to prepare.
Yeah,
but that's just not. I mean, you get worse sometimes if you go to a small stage race than what you would accomplish with specific training.
Yeah, I agree. Now they're doing their efforts. They're fueling themselves. Everything's completely dialed in, planned out. Like Johan said, they're not doing these week-long stage races for training anymore. He's just doing it to win races, and he does the ones that he wants to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone said to me, like, "Well, how he looks so fresh? He's been racing 3 times this week." It's like, I would gander that his training is harder than these races, these midweek races, at least. If he's not racing, he's training incredibly harder than we could fathom.
Well, I mean, Spencer, now at the end of the season, probably, listen, he came into great shape again after Montreal. I mean, we saw a little adaptation for the World Championships time trial, but since he won the Worlds, you can keep that. I mean, he doesn't need to train that much. He did the Worlds, he did the European Championships, he did the Trevali the other day. So there's not that. I mean, I think it's going the races full gas and then just coffee rides, in my opinion, what he did. There's not much else. And then he did this recon Lombardy, and he took his KOM on the climb where he attacked today. So not much more to do.
It's a good point. I mean, I was thinking about that in respect to, I would rather be doing what Pogačar's doing than, assume you'd have to be training. If you're Jonas Vingegaard and you're at home, are you training right now, or are you in your off season? How are you managing that?
I would say he's in the off season. I mean, he just did the European Championships, a week ago. Obviously didn't do a great result, but he deserves some. They all deserve some sort of time off the bike. So I'm guessing he's probably off the bike right now.
He's got that big crit coming up next weekend, though. Johan, well, to answer Larry's question, I would guess a lot. I was just like Jonas Kritor, our friend, had a stat that in the last 18 one-day races, Pogačar's won 17 were won solo. I mean, there's training. He's clearly very good at training. Everything's dialed in. He's gotten better since they seem to have switched something behind the scenes 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. And things have clicked for him. But I would imagine just physically, it's like this in any sport. I think Messi had as many free kick goals as the rest of the league he was in for like a multi-year period. Some people are just genetically better than other people. But Johan,
I mean, he's definitely, we've talked about it many times. He's a huge talent. He was extremely good, very young. And we talked about it yesterday, Spencer, on the show on outcomes, to consider that he won the 2 times the Tour de France, his first and second, when he was not really fine-tuned yet. He was not super professional yet. We talked about the physical transformation since, his first time he showed up at Algarve and won 3 stages in the Vuelta. And look at him now.
It's funny you talk about the transformation. He might have been the strongest rider in that Vuelta. That he was like chubby.
Maybe because it was Roglic won it and Valverde was second, I think, and he was third.
And he was flying in that third week.
Yeah. So, if you look at what he accomplished already without being super professional, and we know that's true. Now he's, he has the best people around him, best trainers, best nutritionists, best, aerodynamics people, because that's also obviously a big advantage if you're on a huge budget team, that they hire the best people from all over the world that are available. So I think in my opinion, it must be a very peaceful feeling for a guy like Pogačar that he knows that all the people around him are the best in the market. You get on your bike and, you say, okay, I know I'm good. Everything else is, the best. So let's go.
It's been a long process. It wasn't always like that.
No.
I also feel like we should mention the man is basically on a time trial bike. Like you talked about holding these gaps. That has to help. I mean, that bike is incredibly aero that he's on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is. They're also, UAE, but also, for example, Colnago. They came a long way. When Colnago started with UAE, from what I heard, the bikes were not that good.
You can see in that picture you posted yesterday.
Yeah,
it's a pretty simple bike.
Yeah, and now it's top of the game.
So just to get into our in game here, you mentioned in the pre-show, Pogačar has 4 things left to win to match Eddie Merckx. Vuelta a España, that will be 1. Olympics, that will probably be 1.
But Eddie Merckx never won the Olympics, by the way.
Oh, to surpass.
Wait, you know the funny story about Eddie Merckx and the Olympics. So anyway, he only went once because it was not open to professionals back then, right? Yeah. So the funny story about the Olympics in the Merckx family is that Eddie never got an Olympic title or medal. Axel got bronze. His son got bronze in Athens in, I think, 2000. Was it 2008?
No, 2008 was Beijing, so
2004. Athens, 2004. It was Bettini, Paulinho, and Axel Merckx. And so his grandson, Luca Masso, who is the son of Sabrina, Eddie's daughter, was a hockey player, like hockey, not ice hockey,
yeah, like field hockey.
Yeah, and that's actually a really funny story. I don't know if you know that story, George. So his dad was an Argentinian ex-tennis player, Eduardo Masso. So he had double nationality, and Luca Masso was playing in Belgium competition for the Belgian team, and he was not selected for the national team for the Olympic Games. And so he applied for a spot on the Argentinian team for the Olympics. He got selected for Argentina, did the Olympics, and the final of the Olympic Games hockey was Argentina-Belgium.
Really?
And Argentina won. So Luca Masso is an Olympic champion.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
That's Eddie's grandson.
Pencil Pogačar in for the Olympics. And then we get to the two tough ones: Milan-San Remo, Paris-Roubaix. Let's just Paris-Roubaix, we can see a path. He was close this year. In my opinion, San Remo is the toughest. And right on cue, Raul in the chat asks, what does Tadej need to do to win Milan-San Remo? I mean, what would your answer be there? This seems to be the hardest one remaining in his path. And that also speaks to the motivation you talked about. Like, what's keeping him motivated? I guarantee you it's these races he's not won.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he lives right down the road from San Remo as well. And these guys all know that climb like the back of their hand. He's been close. It's just similar tactics to what we've seen. Although San Remo, the climbs aren't quite as steep, so guys like Evenepoel, Van Aert, they can usually hang on to him when he goes. I think an all-out assault from his team already on the Cipressa, favorable winds for a hard pace, not a headwind, obviously a tailwind that'll make the climb even harder. Yeah, I think, and I think we'll probably, if he does in fact want to win San Remo, we will see that type of tactic next year.
Yeah, I think I agree, George. They need to have a harder race on the Cipressa, and in my opinion, he needs to be able to get away on the Cipressa, because on the Poggio it's difficult. Especially especially Van der Poel, he has that. And of course, they don't always show up in the same shape every season, right? If you're just 1 or 2% off, it may be enough, right? At some point I thought, he almost had Van der Poel on the Poggio this year, but then Van der Poel attacked on the top. I think Milan-San Remo is going to be the most difficult, honestly, to win for Pogačar, because, the thing is also, maybe another scenario could be have a teammate in the break and try to go alone on the Cipressa and have somebody in between the Cipressa and the Poggio, but no team will let that happen. If there's a UAE rider in the break, they're not going to let that break go. Other teams.
Kilometer zero attack. But it's George, it's like I fed you this answer. This is exactly what I wanted you to say. You saw him today. They go into the Paso de Ganda, and he's doing traffic control with his team. Del Toro is not where he needs to be. And that's been a problem at San Remo, I believe, the last 2 years, where, especially 2 years ago, the team was not positioned correctly going into the Cipressa. He didn't have the team to set the hard pace. I almost think, it sounds ridiculous, he's in Lombardia thinking about drilling the team for San Remo. I guarantee you he's incredibly motivated to win that. And they did the playbook today. They just need to do it. The precision at San Remo has to be, it's so much higher. The bar is so much higher because the pace is faster. Everything's tougher. And it brings us to this funny thing where these hard races are essentially no non-contests anymore. And the only thing interesting in cycling anymore are the easier races like San Remo, which used to be considered the most boring race, is now, in my opinion, the most exciting race because anything could happen.
Yeah.
Well, just what you just said, Spencer, is what it's easier said than done. The positioning for the Cipressa and Milan-San Remo is one of the hardest, most stressful positioning games in all of cycling, because it's not that hard to get there. So everybody gets there fresh. Mm-hmm. You have full team lead outs, windy roads, very easy to sit on the wheel, although, of course, the distance starts to play a big role. But, no matter how strong UAE is, when they're battling out with these hardcore classics guys, it's still a very tough task to get the whole team together at the bottom of the Cipressa. Wouldn't you agree, Johan?
Yeah, for sure. I think That's why I say I think Milan-San Remo is the most difficult, because it is so accessible for the majority of the team to get of the teams and riders to get in a decent position to the Cipressa. Today, for example, it's not even an issue, because after 200K, everybody's dead, and they have 4,000 meters already in the legs, and that's not the case in Milan-San Remo. I think that's going to be the most difficult one, but he's been close a few times already. It'll take maybe an off day of one of the other guys, Van der Poel, Wout, Ghana was there this year also.
The problem is they're going terminal velocity up the Poggio. So I don't think they can go any faster. So they got to move that attack further out.
Yeah. Well, 2 years ago, Philipsen won. So it's never a decisive. That's the difference with all the other races. So Milan-San Remo, even if Pogačar gets away by himself or with two other guys, it's never going to be a minute or not even 30 seconds. It's the other guys are always there, and there's always that possibility that they can make it back. It happened 2 years ago when Jasper Philipsen won.
Yeah. And I think San Remo was the best race of the year because of that. A few questions for you. Like, where do we go from here? What's the future? Like, does Pogačar just keep winning in perpetuity? I assume no. And then how does it end, and who ends it?
You want to go first, George?
Yeah, we're seeing these young people, rising up. Del Toro, Sextas, they're still 19 years old, 21 years old. You got to think they're going to keep getting better and better. Pogačar now is on the upper at levels of the 20s, which back in our day was still super young. But you'd think it'd be hard to imagine him to continue to improve. But you can see these younger guys improving because they're still super young and have several ways of improvement. But that's the only thing I can say, because right now this current form has just been unbeatable.
Yeah, I think the guy who ends it is Pogačar himself.
Yeah.
It's when he's going to lose motivation and be burned out. And I can see that because, man, like we saw the images on it was in the European Championships now, where people were patching him and putting stickers on his back. And today also, on that climb, that actually gets to you. I've seen a few big champions that physically they were still able to do it, but there's only so much your motivation and your patience and your dedication can take, and it wears out after a while.
I was thinking about that point, Johan. How did Merckx's domination end? He got punched in the kidney, and then he lost that tour, and then what happened after that?
I think he won it one more time.
So that's what I do think what will happen is Pogačar will lose, and then you enter this second phase. It's almost like the fire is reignited, because someone will come up, whether it's Paul Seixas, Isaac Del Toro, and beat him. And then you're fighting so much for like that last win. Like usually you don't come back and win a bunch, but that's what's so impressive. He lost 2 already and came back and won multiple ones after that. That's almost unheard of. But I do think he will get beat, and then it either is go away forever, or he has to come back and try to win another one, but he's not nearly as dominant. Kind of like
I think Eddy Merckx, from what I'm not 100% sure, but I think Eddy Merckx didn't win any Grand Tour anymore after 30. I think his last one, he was 29 or 30. And because I think he won his first 4, and then he lost 1, and then he won another one, and then he didn't win anymore, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm even thinking of like Contador, dominant, and then another generation comes up.
Froome showed up. With Contador, Froome showed up, and that was it.
But even, remember, there was the Giro where he's getting dropped by Landa and Fabio Aru, and he had to fight his way up the Finestra and wins his last year at Italia. I do think we have that phase from Pogačar. It's hard to imagine now, but I think he will not be this dominant forever.
No, of course not. Of course not. But, again, I said it yesterday. And, George, I don't know, you'll probably agree with me. Since I have been actively in cycling, since I started racing myself and then through all the years, because, I have a vague memory of Merckx, but there's never been anybody so dominant on all levels as Tadej Pogačar in the last 50 years, I would say. So, if you think about Froome and Contador, and, they were never so dominant. I mean, they were there, but they also lost sometimes. They didn't always win. This guy just always wins.
Well, they would rarely win one-day races.
I don't even know if they ever won major one-day races.
Yeah.
I can think of.
No, they didn't.
2 more questions. First, this one, I don't even like this question, but I'm going to ask it. Is this good for cycling, this dominance?
I think maybe it gets a little bit boring after a while because you kind of know exactly what's going to happen. But at the same time, you have a once in 100-year rider that we're able to witness, greatness. So in that sense, it's pretty cool to witness as well.
I think it's great if the best guy wins, and even if he wins all the time.
Yeah.
If he's the best and he wins, I think it's great for the sport. Especially, what's even more impressive with Pogačar is that cycling is probably one of the most unpredictable sports. You lose a lot more than you win. It's not like in any other sport. If you're the best, okay, you win. Track and field, you're the best, you win most of the times, right? But cycling is you lose a lot more, and this guy just always wins. So. No, I like it. I like it. I'm a Pogačar fan for sure.
Yeah, it's like people forget you're in the middle of Tiger Woods' most impressive run. Usain Bolt, there's these once in century athletes, and you just have to enjoy it because it will be over. You forget. Also, here's my mini take on this is we have seen 3 major races that suit him perfectly. So World Championships, European Championships, Lombardia. It will next season will roll around and he's got to go play in the mud in the classics, and people will overrate his dominance. They'll forget that Van der Poel beat him multiple times last year, and there'll probably be a betting opportunity to bet on someone like Van der Poel or someone who's going to beat him, and he'll look human again. It's been a funny end of the season where you had the Tour and then all these races have been ultra hard. So of course he looks dominant. I think we're seeing. He's very good, obviously. He's the best, I think, ever. But you've seen the field has been slanted in his favor, and it won't always be this way.
Mm-hmm.
Last question before we go. Also, I just want to give shout outs to Lombardy. Looked amazing, by the way. Man, want to go to Bergamo. Also, we should say Tudor getting on the podium. Quinn Simmons, I think we already shouted him out. That was super impressive. Paul Seychelles, 19, getting 7th. Isaac Del Toro, you're amazing. Kind of Udebrooks getting 10th. Good result.
Yeah, great result.
But last question before we go. Also, this race is, people are going to complain about it, but the leaves are turning. It just looks nice on TV. It's not too intense. You kind of sit there, you watch it. A great way to end the season. But David Brown asked this the other day, and he put it again in the chat. Is this season with 3 monument wins, only 1 Grand Tour win, the Tour de France, World Championship win, is it more impressive than last season where he won 2 Grand Tours, but only 2 monuments, I believe, unless I have that wrong.
Yeah, I would say
only 2 monuments last year.
I think he even said in his interview it was the best season ever. But yeah, I would say even more impressive than last year.
I think so. I think his level this year is higher. His dominance was unbelievable. I mean, only 1 Grand Tour because he only did 1, Spencer.
Yeah.
It's he did all 5 monuments, was on all the monuments on the podium, plus a bunch of other races. That there was really no room for him for a 2nd Grand Tour.
Right there, has that ever been done before? All monuments on the podium?
No. I said it before. It's never been done. Never.
That just sunk in for me. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Wow. That's crazy. This whole podcast could be us just saying, wow, that's crazy. Never seen that before.
Yeah.
And then if you guys had to pick the next big star of the sport, just from the last few races, who are you going to pick?
I'd say Del Toro. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
he's
agree.
just been amazing.
Yeah, Del Toro. It's also, I mean, he's a stage racer, can win a Grand Tour. He almost won the Giro, and he wins one-day races. I don't see him do what Pogačar. I mean, a guy like Del Toro, for example, I don't see him in Roubaix and Flanders. I think it's a different type of rider.
Did we see when Pogačar was that age? I don't think we saw him. Right?
No, but anyway, I think we're witnessing something unique with Pogačar, and we're already starting. I mean, listen, we said before, we're not going to compare riders with each other. I mean, you could compare Del Toro with Pogačar because they're from the same era, but I don't think it's comparable. There's nobody who can be compared right now with Pogačar of today's cycling. Do you agree, George?
No, yeah, I mean, not that I can remember. No.
The crazy thing about Del Toro's season is he almost won the Giro d'Italia, and it's easy to forget. Like even if you take that Giro out of the picture, he still had one of the best seasons.
He won 15 races, Spencer. 15 races.
That's crazy.
And Pogačar, today was his 20th win of the season? 20th, right?
Yeah, got him up to 40% win rate for the season.
Wow.
50 starts, 20 wins.
Unbelievable. You see, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
And that includes the stages.
That includes
in the stage races. So just imagine how many stages there are, like, so for them in the Tour, that he's actually not even going for it. So that's already out the window. Wow. And 40% he wins. Wow, that's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, it does help that, man, there's not many races outside the Tour de France that he didn't win. So that does help your numbers quite a bit.
Well, it does. I mean, there's stages he didn't win in stage races.
A few. There's one he didn't win.
The bunch sprints. The bunch sprints.
Yeah. I mean, think of all the breakaway days of the Tour. It was like the whole last half of the race. I mean, that's crazy. All right. Anything else, guys, before we take off?
Yeah, I think that's it. No.
Thanks for joining, and we'll be back on Friday for our Q&A, and then Tour de France route reveal with another special guest on October 23rd.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
Ciao, ciao.